Well, for most people going through the home buying process, you might not know what to expect. And the question we have today is a perfect example of that. Should your lender be telling you what your rate's going to be before you make an offer? We'll go through the process with Bill coming up. Welcome into the Smart Mortgage Show. Ben George with Bill Litton of Cross Country Mortgage. Good to see you again, Bill. We got a question today. I think a good one, right? And we talk about this all the time. You're not going to go through this process a lot. So you have a lot of questions up front about, hey, is this normal? Is this not normal? So I want you to kind of break it down for us and explain whether this is normal. And if it's not, what your process looks like across country. So the scenario is you're a first-time home buyer. You've been pre-approved by a lender, but you asked about the rate and they told you, hey, we're not going to give you the rate until you make an offer. Now, obviously this can cause some problems because you're trying to figure out what you can afford, trying to run the numbers on the home, but you don't really know because you can't put in that actual interest rate. So is this normal procedure to not know what your rate's going to be until you make an offer? And if not, what does it look like for you guys?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think it's really important that you know what the rates and the payments and the closing cost and all the details, where's every dollar going in the transaction. And as somebody purchasing an asset this large, I feel like taking the time to provide all the information so that we can give you really solid, accurate figures so you can go in transparent with any offers you make. Before you sign the contract, you're already going to know really close, not exact, but really close, how much money you need to bring to the table and what your payments are. So I think it's really important that the lender that you're working with tries to do a full pre-approval, review the income documents, review the credit report, verify the funds to close, and provide you with accurate figures. Now, there is one situation, Ben. Sometimes I'll have a client that says, can you pre-approve me? Or I would even call this more of a pre-qualification. We don't recommend making offers that way, but sometimes if people have a very cookie cutter scenario, we can pre-approve them. We can't be as accurate with the figures though, if we've not verified all of the information. And let me just give you a scenario of, I've had people where a house popped up, there was a lot of activity, they had perfect credit, perfect income. There's like a 99.99% chance they're going to be fine. So we might issue a pre-qualification at that point. I can't give you a loan estimate because I don't know exactly I can give you roughly what your payments and your cash out are going to be, your cash to close are going to be. So that's one scenario where you might not get everything in writing. 99% of the people that we work with, we verify everything and we give you all of the information up front. That's the way we prefer to operate.
And obviously we don't know the full situation here. So as you said, there could be times where this does apply, but if this is a normal home buying situation, is this a red flag if you are working with someone that does this? And what are your options if you do find yourself in this boat where maybe you were pre-approved but don't get that actual rate? Is it fine to move on and look for somebody else?
If it's me and I'm buying, if I go to the supermarket and I'm buying items that are very inexpensive and they don't have price tags on them, I'm probably not shopping there anymore. We're talking about hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. So absolutely, if they're not going to give you that information, I would absolutely move on. That ultimately turns out to be a bait and switch. You get to the settlement table and nothing is as it appears. It just happened yesterday where I had a customer reach out to me on behalf of their son, working with a big, large national lender that's known to do this. And when I looked at the estimate at first, because they wanted me to look at it, because they wanted to see if I could do better. And I said, I'd probably be at the same interest rate, would be very close. I said, but let me just tell you, this lender, I don't know what they're going to pull, but do they know that this is a condo? Because a condo has a different rate. And he said, yeah, they do. We gave them all the information. Well, the day before settlement, they said, we didn't know it was a condo, and they raised their rate 0.5% the day before settlement. So that's, to me, a bait and switch. That's a really big problem. And that does not happen when you work with a reputable lender.
Man, that's It's got to be frustrating and just, I mean, it's got to make it so difficult for someone that, almost helpless, right? Because you don't go through this process. You don't really know what your options are, what you can do, and then you're that close to closing, you feel like you're kind of stuck. So again,
Yeah.
a good reason why you work, as you said, with a reputable lender. Cross Country Mortgage has been doing this for a long time. And look, you can learn more just by texting the word lend to 21,000. Sit down with Bill and the team there, begin talking about what your goals are, what you hope to accomplish, and start getting the actual numbers, right? And for anyone that is coming in, Bill, that knows, okay, I want to buy a home, how far along in the process do they need to be? What information are you really looking for in that first meeting?
So the first meeting, well, and to your point, let me back up just one step. They don't really
Okay.
need to be far along at all. In fact, a lot of people, this is where they kick off the whole process. We believe mortgage planning can start years in advance. So if you have a situation that needs any TLC, let's do it in advance. If you're just curious, let's do it in advance. And the first meeting is very conversational. You really don't, there's probably nothing I'll ask that you won't be able to tell me off the top of your head. And we're learning, we're collecting information. Usually it's a 10 to 15-minute conversation.
Awesome. Again, it begins with the word lend. Just text that to 21,000, lend to 21,000 to get on Bill's calendar, begin talking about this. And again, if you have questions, right, if maybe you're in this boat where you come across something in the process where maybe it makes you feel a little uncomfortable, that's another good reason to reach out. Get a second opinion, get a second thought from someone that's been doing this for a long time to see, okay, are your feelings valid? Should you be concerned? Or, hey, this is normal, you're good to go. That can all be happen with Bill and being able to talk with him and the team there. So reach out. We appreciate you watching. If you have questions for us, let us know. Leave a comment as well. Let us know if something's on your mind. We'll try to feature that maybe in a future video as well. But ultimately, we really appreciate it if you hit subscribe to help us continue to grow the channel. But we appreciate you watching this episode. Talk to you again soon. Bill, appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
This program is for informational purposes only. Please consult a qualified professional before taking any action. Bill Litton is a loan advisor and regional president with Cross Country Mortgage, NMLS number 147060.